Between you people, don't talk to me that way. You're just a lightweight. Don't talk to me that way. Don't talk to. I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president that way. Go ahead, take the. Well, I'll give you voters. I will give you voter suppression. You just have to sit down, please. Sit down. I didn't call you. Okay, question? Yeah, go ahead. Sure. She's shocked that I picked her.
No.
She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. How many cases were in the United States when I did my ban? How many people had died in the United States?
So do you acknowledge that you didn't think
Keep your voice down, please. Keep your voice down.
Do you want him to rein in Robert Mueller?
What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
You didn't let me ask my question.
You've been asking a question for 10 minutes. So please sit down.
The argument is that you bought yourself some time. You didn't use it to prepare hospitals. You didn't use it to ramp up testing. Right now,
you're so
20 million people
disgraceful.
are unemployed.
It's so disgraceful the way you say that. Look. You know you're a fake. You know that your whole network, the way you cover it, is fake. And most of you, and not all of you, but the people are wise to you. That's why you have a lower approval rating than you've ever had before, times probably 3.
What do you say the Americans were scared, though? I guess nearly 200 dead, 14,000 who are sick, millions, as you witnessed, who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say.
These are unbelievably classic, folks. Unbelievably classic. I mean, the length at which the mainstream media, the alphabet networks, the people in academia, I mean, the establishment from both the Republican and the Democratic side, and everywhere in between, and all their acolytes, every single day, whether it was during the COVID times, pre-COVID, all of that, every single day, this man, President Trump, had to fight off all kinds of stories, all kinds of headlines that were being created. Some were things that were happening, but the narrative was absolutely being manipulated. Did you see the part in which he called on the lady? In fact, I'm just going to go to it so we can see that thing again. Look at all the men in the background that are just giggling and laughing at what President Trump basically just said. We're going to go to that clip right now. It's very classic. All right, so here we're coming up with that question. Watch very carefully the men behind and what President Trump says to the reporter.
Okay, question? Yeah, go ahead. Sure. She's shocked that I picked her.
No.
She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now
many
you tell me,
cases were...
you tell me, was that classic? Goes, I know you're not thinking. You never do. And she goes, excuse me? Go ahead. Ask your question. I mean, absolutely, absolutely classic. So let's get back to more Trump gets brutal with the media. And that's what we have on tap for you today, folks, because you're watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I'm your host, Dr. Nasir, where I give you my political prescription from my political perspective on what happens when things like this occur, when Donald Trump clashes with the media. Right? Let's get to it right now.
You've said repeatedly that you think that some of the equipment that governors are requesting, they don't actually need. You said New York might not need 30,000. You said it on Sean Hannity's Fox News. You said that
why don't you people act? Let me ask you.
You said
why
some
don't
states.
Why don't you act in a little more positive? It's always trying to
My
get
question to you is-
get you. And you know what? That's why nobody trusts the media anymore.
My
That's
question
why
to you is,
people,
how is that going to
excuse
impact?
me, you didn't hear me. That's why you used to work for the Times and now you work for somebody else. Look, let me tell you something.
Trump just gave it to this Yamiche chick. This lady, who you can obviously tell has got a bone to pick with President Trump and just basically utilizing the narrative to try to, force feed a narrative to her readers, which is absolutely not true. And then Trump just calls her out on it. And this lady is an avowed, activist within the Black Leadership Party. And so she uses her activism position within her writings, within her narrative, when she's out there being a pseudo journalist. And Trump just basically calls her out to her face and then basically talks about her resume or lack of it, and that she has to leave positions because, she's just no good and nobody wants her. Anyways, let's continue.
Be nice. Don't
Mr.
be
President, my
threatening.
question
Don't
is-
be threatening. Let's give it a shot.
Governor Cuomo, as you played in that clip, has indeed praised a lot of what the federal government has done, but he...
Excuse me. He didn't say a lot. He said we did a phenomenal job. He didn't say a lot. He didn't say you did a good job on ventilators but nothing else. No, he said we did a phenomenal job. So report accurately, because
Yes.
you're one of the most inaccurate reporters. Those people have been just absolutely excoriated by some of the fake news, like you. You're CNN, you're fake news. And let me just tell you, they were excoriated by people like you that don't know any better because you don't have the brains you were born with.
Sir, why are you saying that to me specifically?
I'm
That I
telling
should
you,
ask
I'm not
China?
saying it specifically to anybody. I'm saying it to anybody that would ask a nasty question
That's
like
not
that.
a nasty
Please
question.
go ahead.
Why does it matter?
Okay, anybody else? Please, go ahead in the back, please.
I have two
No,
questions.
it's okay.
But
We'll
you
go over
pointed
here.
to me. I have two questions, Mr.
Next,
President.
next, please.
But you called on me.
I did, and you did.
But you called on me. You called on me. I'm going to cry. I'm going to wipe a tear from my face because, Mr. President, you called on me. He goes, no, I didn't. But you looked at me. So just because it seems to me that you called on me, I have a right to answer my questions. And I got two questions I got to ask you. These people are unbelievable. And the other thing, this was back in 2020, obviously during the COVID period. But I'm sure that President Trump did not want to have people dressed in masks sitting 6 feet apart, which they probably measured with a tape measure just to make sure exactly 6 feet apart. Oh, was that just a bunch of BS too at the time? And now they're outside and they're wearing masks in the fresh freaking air, folks. In the fresh freaking air, they're wearing masks. Because I think this is the look that unfortunately the administration wanted to give at that time. That mask wearing, is what we're telling everybody, and that we're doing it too, even though outside in the garden, full of fresh air, but yet let's wear some masks out there because, that Chinese Wuhan virus, that's going to jump right out and get you.
Didn't respond, and now I'm calling on
Sorry, I just
the
wanted
young lady in the back, please.
I just wanted to let my colleague
Okay.
finish. But can I ask you a
Ladies and
question,
gentlemen,
please?
thank you very much.
Well, that was special. Folks, every single time that Donald Trump had to come to the podium, he realized that every question that was asked of him was like a heat-seeking guided missile with multiple warheads, right? Those warheads, metaphorically, meaning narratives. And whatever he said, it was one of those things where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But as far as the people that voted for him, the supporters of him, we all knew exactly what he meant. And did he always say the exact right things? Of course not. Did we mind that? We didn't, because that's the way people talk. Sometimes you say something that can be a little bit abrasive, but there is not only sometimes a grain of truth to it, there's a pound of truth to it, a ton of truth to it, but nobody wants to say it out loud in the room because we're being ruled by the elite, by the establishment, by the Google networks, by mainstream media, and their narrative is something that they want to push, which is against the American public, against the country and against this president and his administration. And if they can lie, cheat, and steal, they'll do that, in which they were doing every single day of his presidency. Look at what they did when they brought in all those people from the Obama monarchy, from the DOJ, from the DIA, from the CIA, from the defense contractors, the Secretary of Defense. All those people, what did they do? They became regulars on CNN or MSNBC and basically were pushing the narrative that this president didn't know anything that he was doing and that they had all kinds of information that this president was in bed with Russia, was in bed with China, was in bed with anybody that they could think of to try to continue that false and fake narrative. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasir. If you haven't done so already and you like our content, we'd love for you to hit that subscription button, like, share, and follow us. You all know what to do after that. Take a look at our other video links above and below. And I'll leave with my final thought, which is, when you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.